Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today for this session. I appreciate you being present. Today I feel guided to speak about self-acceptance and self-love. One of the first video, inspirational, intuitive video I did about a half a year ago was about self-acceptance and self-love. And it was short, I think it was about 3 minutes, and it had just the basics of what I wanted to cover at that time. And I've been feeling lately that I would like to go a little bit more into depth there and add some more information, as I feel that in this present moment there is a lot of misunderstanding or miscomprehension, or whatever you would like to label it, regarding self-acceptance and self-love. So I just wanted to go a little bit more into detail there and bring some more information, perhaps some new information or new viewpoints, new perspectives. At this present moment, we live in a society with a lot of opposites. I think we can all agree on that. And we have a lot of people either or, okay? So we have a lot of bodies, humans' bodies, who are in service to self, what is usually referred to as service to self, who are very much out for their own profits, for their own benefits. Everything they do is just serving themselves, and no consideration for others. They usually run by the mind because the heart is cut off, and the mind is very much about, gaining as much as possible for the specific body, okay? Because the mind, also the brain, has two hemispheres. It's either or. So for the brain, it's either you're rich or you're poor, okay? And I feel that a lot of this has to do with abundance and how we view abundance, and in that sense, money, because that is what pays in our reality here. Now, I don't want to talk about abundance a lot because I will make a separate video about that at another time. But to comprehend that a lot of the issues with service to self come from a lack mentality, feeling the need to have more than you need, and feeling the need that you need more abundance, feeling the need that you do not have, or feeling that you do not have enough. That's lack mentality. And if we take a closer look at humans' bodies that are in service to self, that are serving themselves and have no compassion for others, they usually deep down have a lack mentality where they cannot see abundance in their life, and so they are focused on just serving themselves, so they get more and more and more, okay? So that's one group. And then we have the other group of human bodies who are in service to others. That's what it's usually referred to, who are willing to give everything and anything, and who do not worry much about themselves, but always worry about others, how to help others, what they can do for others, service to others, okay? And there is, I feel at this present moment, no good balance in between. So the people, bodies, human bodies, who are in service to self, lack compassion for others. It's all about themselves. It's all about gaining more. It's greed, manipulation, corruption in a lot of cases, okay? Because they're run by the mind, and the mind is all about the body, the self, the persona that the mind creates, okay? And then the other group, service to others, usually do not have any reference for self. They do not feel the need to serve themselves. So what we see here, as opposite as to the group that serves themselves and their own body, we see here a lot of times that people give to others and forget giving to self, giving to their own body. So a lot of times these people get exhausted and run down because they do not take care of their own body, because a lot of times they feel that taking care of their own body is taking away from others. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So there is really not much balance in between. It's either or, either service to self or service to others. And what we really need is a balance, so that especially for the group that serves self, they are more compassionate, yes, and worry about others. And then for the group that serves others, they need to think more about themselves so that they can still operate and function. Because once you are empty, once you have no energy left, yes, when you're tired and exhausted and run down, there really is not much to give to others, okay? So I think it comes down to how we humans as society view service to others and service to self. Service to self is viewed as greedy and selfish, and service to others is viewed as almost martyrdom, you know? You give everything, you give your last cent, you give your last shirt, and you give all the help you can, and you don't say no, and you forget yourself, okay? That's not healthy either. So we need a good balance, and service to others needs to learn to take care of themselves. Yeah? So what it comes down to, and what I have noticed and observed in this present moment, is that a lot of beings, bodies, humans, feel guilty doing something for themselves. They would do anything for others, but they feel guilty doing something for themselves. Okay? And that's how we end up being exhausted, feeling overwhelmed. It causes anxiety and stress. Yes? Now, there is nothing wrong helping others and doing things for others. There's nothing wrong with that at all, and that's not what this is saying. But there has to be a balance between giving to self and giving to others. And if we only give to others, again, we get exhausted, run down, yeah? Because we have to, in order to serve others, service to others, serve others, help others, if you so want, in order to be of help and of service to others, apparent others, we need to be able to give to ourselves. And many, many beings, many bodies, many humans do not know how to do that. Again, it comes down to a lot feel guilty when they do something for themselves. Okay? And there is this almost shame in this world that we live in, when you do something for yourself, but you should be giving to others. Okay? So it comes down to a lot of what we hold in our mind, the stories, the beliefs, and how we were raised, what we were taught, what we learned. Yes. And it comes down to the values that we hold. Again, also stories and beliefs, but which we operate on and how we operate. Okay? Again, there are a lot of bodies, beings, humans, who would do anything to help others, but they forget themselves. So this is not saying do not help others. This is saying there comes a time, there comes a moment where you have to put yourself first in order to be able to function and be able to give to others. Because when your own cup is empty, there's nothing left to give. Okay? So a lot of this guilt mentality, self-guilt, yeah, for doing something for yourself, considering it as selfish, has to do with how we were raised, and again our values, and that we always feel we need to be productive, we need to be doing something. And especially the people who are service to others oriented feel that they constantly have to do something for others, or else they could be considered selfish, or they consider themselves selfish. Yeah. Now, doing something for yourself, for your body, for yourself, has nothing to do with being selfish. It's actually a primal need to keep your physical body healthy and going before you do anything else. Because when your physical body is not healthy, and if you have physical issues, mental issues, emotional issues, and they do not get addressed because you're constantly thinking about helping and doing stuff for other people, then your whole physical body energy will break down eventually. You know, for some it goes sooner, for others it comes later, but you cannot function helping others and forgetting about yourself, and you're running on empty. That's kind of like driving a car and you're still driving it when the gas tank is empty, and then being surprised why the car suddenly stalls and doesn't run anymore. The same goes for our physical body. If we have physical, mental, emotional issues that are not being dealt with, then it is next to impossible to still be of service to others and helping others. I hope that makes sense. So, by my own experience, you have to, at some point, put yourself first, put your own needs first, and take care of your own issues, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, before you can start giving to others. Because once you have taken care of your own needs, of your physical, mental, emotional needs, and you have taken care of all that, and all that is healthy, in balance, whatever you would like to refer to, then you have the ability and capacity to give, and give freely without feeling run down and exhausted. Yes? Again, it's just like a car. If the tank is full, it can run, no problem. If the tank is empty, the car will not run anymore and eventually break down. Yeah, whether it be the gas or the oil, it doesn't matter. If the car is not serviced and is lacking things, the car will break down eventually. Yeah. So one of the biggest things, I don't want to say issues, but one of the biggest themes that I have noticed with self-love is the lack of self-acceptance. Yes? So even if you take care of your physical body, but if you have issues accepting yourself, and that is your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state, that is you. Yeah? If you have issues accepting yourself, it is very difficult to fully and unconditionally love yourself. Now, unconditionally literally means there are no conditions tied to this love. Okay? So not, oh, today I'm feeling great, so I really love myself, but tomorrow I'm not feeling so great, so I hate myself. Okay? That's not how this works. Unconditionally means you love yourself, meaning your physical body, your mental state, your emotional state, the whole package. You love yourself no matter what, unconditionally. Okay? And a lot of bodies, beings, humans have difficulties with this. They keep bouncing back between I'm happy with myself today and tomorrow something goes wrong, and then I blame my body, I blame myself. And there is a lot of the root for all of this difficulties of self-acceptance and self-love is really blame, shame, and guilt. And a lot of beings' bodies who are in service to others carry in their physical body, in the energetic field, a lot of blame, shame, and guilt. Yes? And unless this is processed, felt through the body, processed through the body, and then cleared and let go, released, it is difficult to fully accept and love. Okay? And if we cannot fully accept and love ourself, meaning our physical body, mental state, the emotional state, the whole package, yes, our self, what we consider self, it is very difficult to fully and unconditionally love anything that is on that external world. So what we perceive as other bodies, other beings. Very difficult. Yes? That's not saying that you do not love, but you usually, when we cannot love ourselves unconditionally, we also put conditions on other bodies, beings, humans. Yes? So if we cannot do it for ourselves, then we cannot do it for others either. So that's why it is so important to start with self, to start with what we call inner work. Yes? To work on guilt, shame, and blame. Because that are the, in my experience, the three things that are the most influential on preventing some body, being from full self-acceptance and self-love. It's guilt, shame, and blame. And that is not blaming someone else. It's usually self-blame. Oh, I should have done this, or I could have done this, or I could have done something different, and then something better would have happened. All this, which are, again, tied to the mind, mental and emotional health, limiting beliefs, stories we hold in our mind. And you can go back and watch, I have made several videos just on limiting beliefs and the stories the mind holds. But that is also tied to where the guilt and the shame and the blame comes from. When we live in the past or we live in the future, we are not present and anchored in the body. Now, I just did a long video on this and I don't want to go all over this again. So feel free to go back and watch my videos, especially if you're new to my channel. Watch my previous videos because they're all connected and tied together. The information that is coming through is connected throughout my videos. It all relates one to the other, okay? And you may find some information in my previous videos that I'm not discussing here, but that might be helpful to get to know, okay? So these 3 things, guilt, blame, and shame, that we carry around with us. Again, it's usually from the mind. It can come, it could be an ancestral thing that comes with the body, with the physical body, with the DNA, with the information our DNA holds. Yes, that is always underestimated. When we talk about ancestral lines, that is the direct information that is coming through the body, the physical body, and the DNA. Yeah. And when you look at your ancestral tree, you have your body on top, and then it's your parents. That's 2. Then you have 4 grandparents. Yes. Whether you know them or not, whether they are alive or not, doesn't matter. But you have definitely 4 grandparents. Yes. And then you have 8 great-grandparents. Yes. And then 16 below that. And then 32 below that. So it keeps on going. So if you go through several generations, you end up with hundreds of people that are contributing to your physical body and your DNA. And your physical body includes your brain. So a lot of the stories and beliefs that we hold in our brain, in our mind, what we call mind is the brain. That information may be coming through generations, ancestral, yes, information coming with the physical body, with our DNA, which holds that type of information. Okay, so it's not necessarily something we have ourselves learned or experienced in this lifetime. It could be coming through the body that we have, the physical body, through the ancestral line. Okay, so when we talk about trauma, ancestral trauma, it is not necessarily something dramatic that has happened. It can be energies transmitted through the ancestral line, through the physical body, through the DNA, that impacts our thinking, our emotional state, our behavior, our patterns, everything, our whole body, our whole life, our whole reality. Yes? So the guilt, blame, and shame has a lot to do with what DNA we're holding through the ancestral line. Yes, and I don't want to go too much into detail with I think I will make a separate video one day about ancestral trauma and what we can transfer through, bodies into the physical body. But just to know that a lot of times we're holding information in the physical body, our cells, our brain, that is not necessarily ours from this lifetime, but it gets carried on through the physical body, through the DNA. Okay? And a lot of that can include shame, blame, guilt, and affect directly how we view ourselves and our perceived external world. Okay? So in my experience, this all has a lot to do with how many beings, bodies, have difficulties with self-acceptance and self-love. Yes? Because if you cannot unconditionally, and I'm not saying that they don't accept, it has to be unconditionally. It has to be rain or shine, no matter what. I accept myself for what I am, and I love myself for what I am. Yes? And a lot of bodies, beings have difficulties with this. And it reflects on the outside because, again, our reality that we're experiencing out there, our whole experience in this reality, in this physical reality, is a reflection, direct reflection of what we are putting out there. So if we're not fully, unconditionally accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, the whole package, yes, everything, the whole package, then we have difficulties. I'm not saying it's impossible, but we will have difficulties bringing the love and compassion unconditionally to everything that we perceive as external. Yes? And it also has a direct impact on the relations we have with other bodies, beings. Yes? Because that too cannot be unconditional if we cannot bring that for ourselves. That's why it is so important to have that love and that acceptance for self, so that we can give the same love and acceptance unconditionally to everything that we perceive on the external. Yeah? So today I will be doing a general clearing, whatever is in the field that needs clearing. And I will be doing Reiki for self-love and self-acceptance. Now, I'm pretty sure I did a video on this before, a Reiki video, but I will do another one just for this session. And it will clear, it will help to activate. Now, all these videos I'm making are activations, so I'm not doing this for you. You have to work with this and work with your own physical body and your energy. Yes, so what I'm sending out are activations to help your body process. Okay, so basically to get started with the process of, yeah, so these will be activations to start processing guilt, self-guilt, yes, guilt, blame, and shame. It'll be a little bit of clearing limiting beliefs, yes, because that's what it is. Guilt, blame, and shame are limiting beliefs. And it will bring in high vibrational energies of unconditional love and self-acceptance. To start with self and then be able to reflect that outwards. Okay? So we're going to start clearing. I have my tincture bells. And you can breathe with me if you would like. I'm going to breathe in. Then I ding the bells. And then I breathe out. And the breath is the closest that we can see our energy. So with this, we can process, clear, and release energies through the physical body because the breath comes in and goes out. Yes? So that's a very obvious, I would say, obvious physical way to clear energies. We set the intention, we breathe in, breathe out, and the breathing in and breathing out is the processing, clearing, and releasing. Okay? So okay. We do it a couple more times. This sounds quivery. There is some underlying doubt, definitely. Some fear, fear, insecurity, I would say, maybe not directly fear, but insecurity and doubt. So we're going to clear as much as possible. One more time. Okay. So again, our breath, yes, is physical and is one of the easiest tools to process and clear anything, because it's always available, it's free, we can do it wherever, whenever, it does not matter. Our breath is one of the easiest tools accessible to us, okay? Love yourself the way you want to be loved by others. Give yourself the attention you want from others. Give yourself the respect you want from others. Give yourself what you would give to others. Do something nice for yourself every day, so you can learn and feel that unconditional self-acceptance and self-love, so that you can then give to others unconditionally. The light in me recognizes that same light in you, for we are all one light, one consciousness, one light. I see you, I appreciate you, I honor you. So much love and blessings. Self-acceptance, unconditional self-acceptance, is the foundation for unconditional self-love. Now, many beings have the hardest time with self-acceptance because they have, again, blame, shame, guilt, whether it's their physical body, whether they perceive to have flaws. It doesn't matter what flaws you feel, perceive to have. Many of these things, when we look closer, were taught to us. Oh, you're just not smart enough. Oh, you're not pretty enough. Oh, you're not tall enough. You're too short. You will never find a husband. Oh, you will never make it. Oh, you're too lazy. All these things that we were taught, and sometimes definitely come with the physical DNA, with the physical body, through generations. Oh, our family is never rich. Our family never makes it. It's been in the family for generations. We've always been poor. That kind of lack mentality, yes? Those are just examples, but you get the point. All these things can be cleared after we look at them. We can process them and clear them. Yes? Self-acceptance, unconditional self-acceptance, is the foundation for self-love, unconditional self-love. And if you perceive to have flaws, no matter what kind, love your flaws. They may be your biggest strengths. Love your flaws. Make them your favorites. And the perception will change of your flaws. And it will turn into your strength once you love yourself and love your flaws. Yes? And it's always our perception of things that make it either good or bad, useful or unuseful. Yes? So, it is not important what this seemingly outside world tells us, thinks of us. None of that matters. The only thing that matters, and that should be your only authority, is you. How you feel. And how you feel and think, you can change by changing your perspective and perception of things. Again, if you perceive to have flaws, stuff you don't like about yourself, start loving it. You don't like your hips, start loving them. You don't like your eyes, nose, ears, start loving it. And once your perception changes, your reality matches your new perception. Okay? And once you love your flaws, the external will match your perception and will love your flaws. And this is how you can turn your flaws, perceived flaws, into your biggest advantage and strength. Yes? Again, it all comes down to self-acceptance. Once you completely, unconditionally, and uncompromisingly accept yourself and love yourself, your perceived external reality will mirror that back to you and will also unconditionally, uncompromisingly accept, respect, and love you. Yes? So, to sum it up, self-acceptance and self-love is the foundation of all relations, apparent or appearing relations we have with the external. Okay? Because if we do not have self-acceptance and self-love, and with that comes self-respect, respecting yourself enough, accepting yourself enough, and loving yourself enough to put yourself first. And that has nothing to do with being selfish. And I know a lot of beings feel guilty putting themselves first. And I say to you, if you cannot take care of yourself and your needs before anything else, it is very difficult to unconditionally help and serve what we consider the external. Okay? We have to come first. That is not selfish. That is a nature. It's a survival instinct that you come first in nature. Yes? Every animal will put themselves first. Any mama animal will put herself first in order to be able and capable to raise and protect their young. Yes? So, if you cannot put yourself first, it is very difficult to give your energy, your help, your service to other beings. Yes? I hope that makes sense. Again, this is not about being selfish. This is about you have to fill your cup. You have to take care of your needs before you can help others. And once your cup is full, once you have tended to your needs, once you have processed, and once you are, I would like to say, balanced mentally, emotionally, physically, yes? That is not saying you have to be completely pain-free or completely always happy and in bliss in order to help others. That's not what this is saying. But the foundational needs need to be taken care of. That's why so many bodies, especially if they work as social workers, yes, are constantly exhausted and run down because they give so much to other beings and they don't take care of themselves. Yeah? Again, eventually the body, just like a car, if the car runs on empty, whether the oil is missing or the gas is missing, the car will break down. Okay? And the same goes for our physical body. It is our vehicle in this physical reality. And if we do not take care of our own needs, and every body, physical body, has different needs, yes? So there is no one all serve all. It's whatever your physical body, your mental, your emotional health needs, yes? And that can vary from day to day. So it's always good to do a daily check up real quick what is needed, what is necessary, what is needed for my body, mental and emotional, to be balanced today. And then I can go out and give to others. And then I can go out and give my energy, my attention, my focus to whoever needs help out there, perceived out there. Yes? So again, we have to put ourselves first. There will be a moment where if we don't put ourselves first, we won't be able to give no more. Okay? Because you can only give what you have, and if you don't have it, you cannot give it. If you don't have the strength and the energy within you, you cannot give it. Yes? And again, it needs to be unconditional, and it starts with self. It starts with respecting, accepting, and loving ourself unconditionally. Yes, self-acceptance. Own your story. That means process what your stories are in your mind. And then you can clear, release, and let go, so that they are not a constant burden and running in loops in your mind, preventing you from having that balance and having that strength for unconditional acceptance and love. Again, it's a mirror back to us. If we cannot love ourselves unconditionally, accept ourselves unconditionally, what reflects back to us and what we put out there will be also not unconditionally. Okay? That's again, that's why many beings have difficulties with relationships, for instance. Yes, if you don't have that unconditional acceptance and love for yourself, and you don't have it for others, you will have difficulties with relationships, because there is always something you expect. Yes, unconditionally means you do not expect something back in return. You give freely without expecting to receive something. Yes, and when you give enough to yourself, yes, when you accept yourself, love yourself, and take care and give enough and fill your own needs for yourself, you do not need anything from the external. Then that love and energy you can put out there can be unconditional, because there is nothing else you need. You have everything you need. Yes? But to get to that point, we need to look at, again, limiting beliefs. It could come from ancestral, again, blame, shame, guilt. You know, if that is not being processed, then we keep having this, I feel guilty for not doing this, or I feel guilty for taking care of myself, or I feel guilty for not doing enough. There is always this, a lot of beings have this, we need to do more, we gotta do more, we gotta constantly, it's a hamster wheel. Yes? But if you have processed all this and you can find the balance within yourself, yes, unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, again, then that is the energy that you're putting out there, and that will reflect back to you. Yes, and then you realize you are already full. Your cup is full. You don't need anything from the external. You don't need someone to love you back because you love them. Then it will be enough to love that other being, that other person, that other body. Yes. You don't need anything in return, because your cup is full and you have more than enough to give. Yeah? So again, it is very, very important for our interaction in this perceived physical reality to put ourselves first, fill our own cup, fill all our needs. Us, not waiting for someone else to do it, or I'll be happy if I get enough love from my spouse, boyfriend, whatever today, and then I'll be happy. No, be happy with yourself. Love yourself, accept yourself, be happy with yourself. You don't need someone else to give you anything. You have everything you need. Yeah, and once you have that realization, and you have that inner balance, then what you're putting out there flows easily, because you have so much and more. because you are all that is, and all that is more than enough. It's plenty. Yes, plenty to go around. And once that is internalized and realized, and that hits, yes, then you know you don't need anything back in return for what you're putting out there. Then it is unconditional. Your output will be unconditional. And you don't need any validation back. You don't need to be loved back. Yeah, that's nice. That's the cherry on top of the icing. Yes, if you get something back in return, but you don't need it. You don't rely on it. It's not what makes your day. Yes, because you have what you need right here, right here. Yes, and that's what makes it unconditional. That's what makes the energy flow, because it can go and it comes back without there being the expectation of something to come back. Yeah, you can give because you have so much. Again, but it is important that you fill your own needs first. You need to come first. And that is not being selfish. That is primal survival instinct. In nature, that's what it is. Yes, it's only us humans who have an issue with that, who come up with all kind of blame, shame, and guilt when we take care of ourselves. Yes? Unless you're the other sort that only serves self, that has no compassion, that has no care about what's going on out there and whether other people have to eat or have clothes. Yes? But that type of being can be balanced too, you know? That is all a matter of their feeling unworthy and trying to fill their needs with more money and more power. Yes? Because they're feeling unworthy. They're feeling lack. And that's what drives this, you know, service to self. Needing more than you need and not wanting to give, not wanting to share. Yeah? So, I hope this video brought some new information. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. And if you need any more details, I'll be happy to share more. Do something nice for yourself every day. I think that's a good way to start if you're not sure how to start this self-love and acceptance. Do something for yourself every day, and it doesn't have to be the same thing. You know, it doesn't have to cost money either. Yeah, because I think that's a lot of beings say, oh, I don't have money to pamper myself. You don't need money. That is another limiting belief. Okay, just doing what you love. Take that time for yourself every day. Some time for yourself. Okay, and that will start that connection, that reconnection. And again, then probably limiting beliefs that need to be cleared. It's a process. It's not something that usually happens overnight, but it can definitely bring so much more joy into your life when you can give freely without having to expect something back in return. And it starts again with self. Unconditional self-acceptance and self-love. And then you have so much that you're overflowing and have enough to give without running your battery, running your gas tank empty. Yes. So, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your sharing this moment with me. And I hope that this answered some of your questions or helped with some way or another. I see you, I appreciate you, I honor you. So much love and blessings.